As much as Din Djarin wanted to do it, affectionately we learned that he just cannot let go of Grogu. I personally thought that after the finale of Mandalorian Season 2, he would start to go back to his lonely bounty hunter life. Back in the day, in Season 1, he was an island all for himself, but as the season moved on and by Season 2, we clearly see that he is attached to Grogu so much so that memes started circulating that he was a dad and Grogu was his son. There are memes floating to this day that Grogu will eventually become a Mandalorian and eventually will get the Darksaber passed on from Din Djarin and become the true ruler, the one Mandalore. Can you imagine Grogu leading the Mandalorian people with his tiny Beskar armor? Memes will always be the lifeblood of Star Wars, but in today's video, we're going to talk about something really interesting that I thought we would never get. The fact that Luke Skywalker actually commented on sabers, such as the lightsaber and the Darksaber altogether, something that I think we will see really soon in the TV series itself, probably in The Mandalorian Season 3. But we have a quotation from Luke Skywalker in canon about the Darksaber, and we're not only going to talk about Luke Skywalker's thoughts on the Darksaber, but we're going to compare them to the Darksaber and lightsabers in general, and we're going to compare that to what Kanan Jarrus said in Star Wars Rebels as well. We know that Season 2 of The Mandalorian ended with Din Djarin basically allowing Luke Skywalker to take Grogu away for training. So it seemed that this would be a radical change of The Mandalorian's theme of the series, because up until now we had both of them. Now we have only Din Djarin. However, as episode 5 showed us of the Book of Boba Fett, it is not to be for long, because Din Djarin just cannot forget about Grogu that fast, and even went on to create a gift for him that he will go personally and give it to him. If he goes personally, then he's going to have Luke Skywalker by his side, who very assuredly will train him once he sees that he is having trouble with the Darksaber. Now, undoubtedly, Luke is already training Grogu in the ways of the lightsaber. While yes, Grogu is much more of a force wielder than a lightsaber duelist, Jedi training encompasses all, and that's why I think eventually we will see Grogu with his own tiny saber getting trained by the legendary Luke Skywalker himself. So what is Luke Skywalker teaching Grogu about the lightsaber? What does Luke say about the lightsaber? De facto, the Darksaber as well, since they are very similar. Well, if you have read Star Wars The Secrets of the Jedi, the new canon book by Mark Sumerak that came out a couple of years ago, you know that inside that book, Luke Skywalker had a lot to say about a lot of things. The Secrets of the Jedi is an expansive book and incorporates a lot of lore from the Clone Wars, the Star Wars films, and even beyond that. Inside the book, we see the history of the Jedi Order and various other things interpreted by Luke Skywalker. Essentially, we see all these things from his point of view. Luke addresses the Force priestesses from the Clone Wars, many iconic Jedi, such as Qui-Gon Jinn. Yes, even Qui-Gon Jinn, guys. Something that we never actually got to see in the films and in the comics. We never understood if Luke knew all these things, but by The Last Jedi, we see that Luke has read up a lot up until that point. As a young Luke, though, he had no idea about anybody else except for Obi-Wan and Yoda. Briefly, I just want to give you this piece of Star Wars golden nugget. Luke talking about Qui-Gon. He says, "While he may not be a Skywalker by blood, Qui-Gon Jinn shares a deep connection to my family's history through the Jedi Order. This revered Jedi Master trained Obi-Wan Kenobi, who in turn trained my father, and then later became my mentor. Qui-Gon was well known for listening to the Force more than the Jedi Code, a trait that often put him at odds with the Jedi High Council. Master Jin was killed by Sith Lord Darth Maul prior to the start of the Clone Wars, but he was the first of only a few Jedi who discovered a way for his spirit to transcend its physical form." Hearing Luke call Qui-Gon Master Jin and actually even mentioning Darth Maul as well, is just a treat, and I highly recommend you guys get this book, because inside this book he also talks about sabers, how sabers work, and sabers, lightsabers, incorporate the Darksaber as well. So he's basically talking about weapons that are powered by kyber crystals. And this is what the Darksaber is. In the last episode, we saw that Din Djarin had a lot of difficulty wielding the Darksaber. It was becoming heavier and heavier as he was fighting with it, because as the armorer said, he is fighting against the Darksaber, trying to control it, and not against his opponent. So this is what Luke had to say about this in the book Secrets of the Jedi. He said, "When you're attuned to the Force, your thoughts and actions all become part of the same flow of energy, which is then directed through the kyber crystal and into your lightsaber's blade." Fascinatingly enough, this goes perfectly in line with what Kanan said as well. So we see that there is this constant line of understanding in the canon universe, where writers and show creators alike are all converging into one key point, that lightsabers, Darksaber, whatever you want to call it, any weapon that is being powered by a kyber crystal, we can see that they affectionately work the same way. Even a lightsaber is not that different from a Darksaber. This coming straight from Luke Skywalker, one of the greatest Jedi Masters to have ever lived. Now let's compare what Luke said to what Kanan Jarrus said about the Darksaber, and you'll see the similarities. This is what I said a couple of days ago, but a much more detailed explanation is found in Star Wars Rebels Season 3, the episode titled Trials of the Darksaber, where Sabine Wren is training with the Darksaber for the very first time. Kanan Jarrus, a former Jedi, is her instructor. Once they start fighting, Sabine actually says that the Darksaber feels heavier than she thought. With this, Kanan immediately explains why. You see, according to a Jedi at one point in time, the Darksaber is considerably harder to wield than a lightsaber. Kanan goes on to tell Sabine that the energy constantly flows through the crystal. You're not fighting with a simple blade as much as you are directing a current of power. Your thoughts, your actions, they become energy. They flow through the crystal as well and become part of the blade. Basically, what Kanan is trying to tell Sabine here is that someone who lacks discipline and control will have a very hard time with the Darksaber. More importantly, acceptance of their thoughts and feelings. Now, we know two things by watching Din Djarin in this episode. One, he is not a lightsaber duelist. We have barely, if ever, seen him wield a proper saber. Yes, he fought Moff Gideon with the Beskar spear, but it wasn't a proper blade. Secondly, his emotions are all over the place. Pretty fascinating if you ask me. Both of these lines actually sound extremely similar, if not the same. So you can see that the lightsaber and the Darksaber do not differentiate that much when it comes to whoever is wielding them. They need to be in control of their thoughts, their emotions, their actions. Be attuned with the energy of the saber. That's essentially it, but you can read it in a myriad of ways. Whatever it is, you cannot be conflicted. You need to be stoic about this. So of course, since these two Jedi Masters offered their opinion, I would love to know, what do you guys think as well about the Darksaber, the lightsaber, and what is the proper method to use it? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.